Hello and welcome back. Today we're actually going to cover a beer can chicken. Now there's a couple ways to do this. A lot of people like to sauce theirs up, but this recipe we're actually going to do dry just because it keeps better, and we plan on eating it with salad later in the week. So I'm going to show you the build of materials and we'll get this thing started shortly. Alright, so what we have here is we have a young chicken whole without giblets. So we've thawed it. It's kind of been sitting out a little while, so it should be ready to cook. And we're actually going to sit it on this beer can contraption. So you could just use a regular beer can and use a drip pan just to catch anything that overflows or it's excess. This one we bought in a store made specific for this purpose. So we're going to fill that with just some beer we had laying around. It'll kind of keep it moist, as well as kind of cook a lot of that beer flavor into it. We're going to smoke it with peach wood chips today, just to add like a little bit of sweet smoke to it, even though we're going to have a lot of spicy marinade and dry rub in this chicken, so it should complement it nicely. As mentioned, we're going to inject it with this Cajun Creole garlic butter. We're going to dry rub it with Weber Kickin' Chicken spices. And with that dry rub, we're going to use parquet vegetable spread with olive oil, just to crisp up that skin on the outside. And then lastly, we're going to have a drip pan underneath all of this that we're going to fill with chicken broth, just to kind of reinforce the moistness of that meat. So we're going to prep the chicken and then kind of leave it out for a couple hours just to brine, as well as get closer to room temp. As an added bonus, I'm actually going to be using a BBQ Guru plugged into a CyberQ. Haven't used it before, but I understand that this product's excellent. The one model that I have actually plugs in the Wi-Fi, and you can control your temperature of your egg remotely. The way we're going to use it tonight, though, we're just going to use the prods to measure both the internal temperature of the egg as well as the internal temperature of the meat. And then we'll adjust it on the fly using the device to make sure that our cook time stays steady and that our temperature stays steady in the range that we want, and that we ensure that our meat is finished by that time. So here are all of our parts for the BBQ Guru. You'll see I have the CyberQ unit. That guy basically has 3 sensors for food, 1 sensor for the pit temperature. And then it also has a plug-in spot for power adapter as well as the Pit Viper. The Pit Viper is a fan that essentially has an adapter for any type of smoke that you may have. I have the adapter specific for the big green egg. So basically that fan will plug into the CyberQ as well as all those prods that you see up there. We're only going to use 2 for food because we're doing a beer can chicken. We're just going to measure 1 breast and 1 thigh. And then we use the clip prod at the top basically to clip into the grate and measure internal temperature. You also see that there's a plug for the adapter. That's so that when you're done and you're shutting down the grill, you can just remove the fan and put that plug in there to cut off the airflow. So we're going to get this assembled when we start the egg, and then we'll be tracking progress with the CyberQ unit you see at the bottom. Alright, so we're about 2 hours into our cook, and as you can see, temperature's sitting right around 200 on the thermometer. You'll see the CyberQ that I have hooked up here. I have the Food 1 probe into the chicken breast, the Food 2 into the thigh. I have a pit gauge, and I have the fan plugged in with the power. The real value of this thing is I haven't had to check this at all because I have an app on my phone, or actually I just have it pulled up on a website. And you can see it's live tracking all, well, three probes in this instance. I have one probe not in use, which is why it's reading in error. So yeah, it stays live. I can actually update all these numbers on the fly, all those new targets, and then there's also a bunch of other menu screens to change my Wi-Fi settings and passwords and stuff like that. So we're going to let this continue to cook here for a couple more hours until we hit those target temperatures. So as you can see, total cook time, it's been about 5 hours 45 minutes. I brought the temperature up to about 271. Just tried to build it up to around 300 to finish it off. I've been tracking it on my phone as well, and you'll see that the breast is measured at about 165. That was our target temp. The thighs were sitting around 180. It dropped to 178 right now, but they should be fine. As you can hear, there's my alert. So we're going to take a quick peek at what this looks like. I haven't even opened this. So we'll let it burp real quick. And that looks absolutely delicious. You can see the char, a lot of drip there, so we're going to pull this off and we're going to eat it. So as you can see, we've pulled it off now. It smells terrific. It's got a little bit of charring. It's about perfectly cooked. You can see that there's a little area over there where the skin's about to break, so I think we can assume that this is pretty well done. So we're going to slice into this, and I'll grab my first bite in a minute. Okay, so we just pulled this off and we just cut a little bit into it. I'm not going to slice it all the way yet, but just pulled a piece off. You'll see it's super moist and juicy. The skin is charred and kind of flaky. So we're going to take our first bite. And it's absolutely phenomenal. Very juicy, not too spicy. It's got a little garlic kick to it, and you're going to love it. Enjoy.